What is something someone said to you that hit you the hardest? If anyone in this thread needs to reach out to talk with someone, please see some of the resources below. There's Arsusaduach, where well-meaning and sympathetic people will try and help, but be aware they aren't trained. The Befrienders website is a global list of local suicide help charities. Use it to find an organization in your country you should be able to call or email them for free, and they'll speak to you and try and help you without being judgmental. Never grow up, just learn to be an adult. Thanks, Dad. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up. C.S. Lewis. This is awesome and I've never heard it. Thank you for sharing. And is it in one of his books? I've been meaning to read books by him other than the Chronicles, and I'm not sure where to start. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up. This was from an essay he wrote, not a book. I would recommend Till We Have Faces, and if you are a Christian, I would recommend Mere Christianity. Adding to the recommendations, the Screwtape Letters was a neat read too. Never make fun of someone's laugh, because they will be self-conscious about being happy. Waking up to gold is a beautiful thing. Thanks. Very true. In middle school, my friends would try and make me laugh cause it was a hiccupy laugh that sounded like a squeaky toy. I finally realized that they weren't making me laugh to make me happy, they were making me laugh so that they could laugh at me. I spent a couple years self-conscious and trying to change my laugh, so now the squeaky toy laugh only comes out when I'm not thinking about it. I've lived a good life. I'm ready to go. My grandma, who is still physically and mentally healthy, I just wasn't ready for it. Who really is ready? His grandma, apparently. When you find someone better, please just let me down gently. Are you still with the person who said this to you? Yep. Love them so much. Honestly, that is painful to hear. I hope things worked out between the both of you. They're still together apparently. I can't help but feel like I had something to do with them staying together. I'm of the same mindset. Instead of cheating on me, just tell me. And if you do end up cheating, I won't be mad. Just a little disappointed that you didn't think I was strong enough to handle rejection. You just feel like a chore now. You feel like a precious gem now. I scrolled down through the comments and love how you have responded to just about all of them with positivity. Keep it up. Need more people like you. It doesn't matter if you hit a home run or strike out. I'll always be your #1 fan. My grandpa, when I was going through a very rough time. Why is this making me tear up and none of the others? Because grandpas are the best. Because see, this person has someone who'd always be there for them and wouldn't be disappointed in you for your choices. Something some of us probably don't have. Your grandpa is an actual legend. My mother once told me, I think you've been miserable your entire life. In regards to my depression, it may sound like a horrible thing to hear, but she was not trying to upset me. She was basically saying, you've done everything you can by yourself to try to get out of this depression, but I think it's always been there, so you need help. Man, I wish I had your mom. Mine looked at me and my depression and said I made the biggest mistake of my life by not having an abortion when I was pregnant with you. I was 12. I'm now 35, and just the thought of it still makes me cry. That's harsh, especially at those already hard teenage years. I hope you are doing better now and that you are surrounded by kinder people. Last time I saw one of my friends, he told me catch you on the flip side. He hung himself a week later. Recently lost one of my good friends in a similar situation. He was a mutual friend of my best friend and they lived together. My best friend and him wrote a song, and then while my best friend took his son home, he hanged himself. No blatant warning signs or anything. He just did it like it was an impulse. Last time I saw him was about 1 to 2 weeks beforehand, and we were talking about starting a D&D campaign and what we were gonna do for Christmas. Sorry for your loss, man. I understand the feeling. I had talked to a buddy of mine for an hour about basically nothing. I walked into his apartment a few days later to find him hanging. No warning at all. Just to post it to add to your thread. If you have a friend who is usually introverted and depressed, but then suddenly becomes extroverted and happy without any acting outside factors, get help for them. That is one of the top signals that suicide is imminent. We all find you annoying. Since then, I've always been the quiet kid. Thank you kind internet people for the medals. My grandma told me something once that stayed with me: not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Something so simple helped me become more comfortable with myself. Read a comment on Reddit once saying that the way someone treats you says a lot more about them than it does about you. Very simple, but definitely stuck with me and changed my perspective. I feel this. Growing up, people always thought I was weird and annoying. Now I basically lose my personality in groups of people. I don't know what to say or how to act, can't think of anything to say. I have no idea how to combat this issue. People can tell me to just be myself, but that's the problem. I literally can't think of how to in those situations. I tend to zone out when I'm with multiple people and hope that they don't start paying attention to me. I wish you could just stop caring what he says. My dad, after I got the umpteenth emotionally manipulative text from my abusive ex-husband, this was over 2 years after our divorce was finalized. My dad doesn't say much on an emotional level, so when he does say something, I know it has deep meaning. I went no contact with my ex, and remain so to this day, and I'm a much happier and more serene person for it. I love this. My dad is the same, doesn't show emotion much, but when he does I know it's something really sincere. Glad you're happier now. Being good to people won't make them good to you. I didn't expect for this comment to blow up or get silver. Thanks so much guys. I'd like to add to my comment. Though being good to others leaves you vulnerable to being taken advantage of, doesn't mean it's not worth giving certain people the benefit of the doubt. Do not let the lack of reciprocation discourage you from displaying kindness towards one another. We are humanity and we have each other. The day is always brighter when you radiate kindness. My father used to tell me this every time someone that I liked hurt me, which was quite common, because the people who I thought to be my friends were not. I didn't want to stop to be good, so I decided to direct my kindness to other people, more needed of my love, without expecting anything in return, and I end up receiving so much more. I took way too long to learn this, but once I did, woo, life is so much better. I had a teacher that said you don't show people respect because they are respectful, you show people respect because you are respectful. After the birth of my first child at age 17, my aunt told me, this is your responsibility. This child didn't ask to be here, didn't ask for you as a mother, didn't ask for him as a father. It's going to be hard, but it's not his fault he is here. Really made me step up and try my hardest to be a good mother. I hear her voice every time I see a news story about child abuse or neglect. I get back to a gold and 2 silvers. Thank you, kind strangers. From the words of Earl Sweatshirt's late father, to have a home is not a favor. Interesting hypocrisy from him though. Most definitely, but it makes sense. Many people don't practice what they preach, even if what they preach is solid gold. You sound like an incredibly strong woman. Never give up. You can be the sweetest peach on the peach tree, but not everyone likes peaches. When my brother was little he used to say, if you don't like my peaches, don't pick my tree. It's true. I think peaches are gross. But how do you like them apples? This really bothers me. Basically, no matter how hard you try it may not matter. True, but also upsetting. I love you. My grandma always believed in showing love, not saying it. She believed actions spoke louder than words. 4 days before she passed away, she told me she loved me. I was shocked at this, but I told her I loved her too. It was so unlike her. I now realize that maybe she said it because, with how weak she was due to the sickness, she felt like she couldn't show it. I don't know. Maybe I'll never know. But that was when I knew that she didn't have much time left. My mom once told me, when I was a teenager, that it took a lot of courage to take your own life, and you could do a lot with that courage instead of killing yourself. Posted this late last night, and then proceeded to have a mess of day due to random bad luck. So thanks for the golds and silvers, kind strangers. For those struggling to understand what she meant, I don't think my mom meant to say suicide was a courageous act that should looked upon with admiration. As others here have commented, if you have the courage to die, you have the courage to live. I think she meant to convey that we all have a lot of potential, and we all have something to offer, even if we can't see it during the dark times. Your mom sounds like a wonderful person. That is so much wisdom in one sentence. If life really doesn't feel good, there are so many options to change it instead of ending it. Sorry for faulty English. I guess that's why I couldn't do it. No one wants to be around someone who's sad and blames others all the time. Granted, I was in high school and trying to get attention and some girl said it to me after I was doing my whole nice guy rant. After that I took it upon myself to change and haven't fallen back into that mindset since. I should clarify, the girl who told me this was someone I had a lot of classes with and we knew one another fairly well. I was being a nice guy in the sense of trying to be manipulative by trying to get sympathy from them. I thankfully saw how I was acting and did a complete 180 adag once I realized it. It's been about 15 years and I'm in my 30s now and have been a lot happier and I'm happily married to a wonderful woman. I'm so proud of you, said to me by my swim coach after I came in last, 5 minutes after everybody else. I realized then that nobody had ever been proud of me before for something I didn't succeed in. Everybody shows pride when you succeed. When you give your best and come up short anyway, having someone still be proud of your effort means the absolute world. I think a lot of people's lives would be different if they had this kind of support. I'm glad your coach gave it to you. You deserved it. We broke up because of you. Words in a moment of immaturity and weakness. If they broke up because of you, they wouldn't feel bitter towards each other. More importantly, nobody breaks up with someone they actually want to be with on account of someone else. That sounds like it came from someone close-minded enough to ruin a relationship. Yesterday is heavy. Put it down. Whoop. I like this. It hit me like a freaking cement truck. So simple. So true. So directly relevant. Nothing is enough for you. Never. My father said it so desperately, like he was asking me to stop doing something I never understood he meant. I truly felt so guilty for everything that happened in my family after that, but when he said it, I finally understood that my mind and soul were so full of anxiety that I never saw what I had, but what I lacked. Yeah, I often do this. I feel like I'm trying not to look at what I'm lacking. It's crazy how anxiety can blind us from seeing the most important things in our lives. My school friends used to refer to me as the friend who eats everyone's food and the one who's gonna be forever alone. I left school 5 years ago, and I still struggle eating around people and believing compliments. I did not expect so many nice responses, and I'm gonna take everyone up on their offers of food. Whilst what I said is sad af, I'm a lot better than what I was. A lot of those friends I grew apart from, and I'm dating someone who never pressures me into believing his compliments, only accepting that he thinks so regardless of my own thoughts. You can have my food. My team sergeant was killed in front of me by an IED on my last deployment. He was a mentor of mine, and we were particularly close. After we put him on the helicopter, the team commander pulled me aside and told me that this isn't the last time this is going to happen. For what it's worth, he thought you were a good NCO. It was hard enough seeing him go, but somehow him thinking that I was good, that he thought I would be alright, made it hurt more. I still miss him. Fixed a typo. They're only a thought away is what my therapist told me once. It's not the same as being with the person physically, but it has helped me feel close to my loved ones who are gone when I need them. I hope you get some solace from this too. I'm sorry for your loss. Never look for happiness in the same place you lost it to the person who gave me platinum. Thank you. Thank you for gold. Whoa, this is what I needed to hear. Thanks for first silver. I'm going to punch you, then they hit me. Did it hit you hard though? Yes, they hit me the hardest. Please save me. Friend was having a mental breakdown, and that was the last thing he said to me before completely falling apart for a few hours. I tried my best, buddy. Been trying this whole time. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. I hope life treats you well in return. You seem like a true friend. You are doing great. My dad was describing me to a therapist and said she is full of quit. How did you respond to that, and what happened afterwards? I was pretty hurt by it, but he isn't concerned with hurting my feelings, so I didn't bother addressing it with him. I was in a bad way when he said it. I had self-reported suicidal ideation and was getting evaluated to enter a psychiatric crisis and patient facility. I have bipolar 1, been fighting it for years, but he treats it like a character flaw I'm just supposed to shrug off. Our relationship was already pretty damaged, but I realized at that point it would be impossible to earn his respect, and so I stopped trying to. Quitter. My father prayed I would have a terrible child, and I think it's you. I was 11 years old. Me, I don't feel brave. I feel scared. My husband being scared and doing it anyway is brave. I needed it. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Bran thought about it. Can a man still be brave if he's afraid? That is the only time a man can be brave, his father told him. 10th grade teacher pulled me to the side as I was into the class and told me walk with your head up. Don't think he knows how much that helped me. One of my teachers did a similar thing for me in 8th grade. I used to be pretty soft spoken and be pretty monotoned when I talked. He saw the potential for a lot more of me and wouldn't answer my questions and stuff if I didn't ask them with some inflection. At the time it crushed me and made me upset, and he saw that, pulled me out of class one day and we just walked around the school. He told me how he wants me to do well. I hope he's doing good. His class made me a much better person. I walk with my head down most of the time. I try not to make eye contact. Walking straight definitely has an effect on you. It affects your confidence at the most basic level. I know that, and I still don't. It's also good for your neck, and it turns out you can still ignore people with your head up. I think most of the things that have hit me the hardest is just finding out people close to me weren't the people I thought they were, so finding out the truth wrecked me hard. My mom telling me that my dad is an awful man who abandoned us. She did the same thing years later. Same. Then moved out of state a month before I graduated at 17 and said figure it out, dad came through. I've been called many not so nice things by my dad and also told that he gave up on me in a fit of rage. I'd like to believe he doesn't mean it, but some things stay with you. Mine did the same thing. Got a bad progress report and non-permanent midterm report card in 7th grade, and my dad told me I'd failed him and could never make it up to him. That never really leaves you. I gave up on ever having a decent relationship with my dad around that time, but I still live here. It's a pretty hostile environment. I'm still hoping that someday I'll have a great I got out story like so many others do. You were his only true love. My mom said that after my father died, I don't even visited him at the hospital. I don't think you're smart enough for this, said my dad in my first week of university. I told him I liked a challenge. Now I have my master's degree and am working full time. At my graduation he told me he was really proud of me and only said it because he knew it would make me work harder to prove him wrong. Your parents may be terrible people, but you are the best of both of them. If you're not confident, optimistic, or have self-esteem issues, I don't think they would take this as a compliment.